Modern Western playgoers are accustomed to certain common stage conventions, such as the curtain rising, costumes, makeup, and certain popular acting styles. But where did these ideas come from? The purpose of the theater, including dramas, plays, and performances, is entertain, teach listeners how to deal with the world around them, teach people about good and evil, and about bravery and cowardice. Before society was predominantly literate, writing and reading was often done communally. For our video project, we have chosen to highlight key points in the history of theater and the implications this development had on literacy and education. First off, we would like to define important terms used in our presentation. Theater is a play or presentation considered in terms of its dramatic quality. Performance art is a non-traditional art form with political or topical themes that feature a live performance to an audience of onlookers. The three time periods that we have chosen to focus on include the history of theater in ancient times, the Middle Ages, and the Renaissance. We have selected a couple examples from these time periods to demonstrate the evolution of orality and literacy in theater. From the earliest known forms of Greek theater, those of tragedies and comedies, mythology and religion were the common themes. Greek mythos dominated Greek culture, and the authors, thinkers, and playwrights used these stories of the gods to present their interpretations. The actor was often the writer, and a chorus was used to help explain the setting and interaction between the characters. The actor would represent important gods and characters from the mythos. These actors generally followed scripts or adhered to basic principles of performance art. During the Middle Ages in Japan and Europe, theater performances were often patronized by shrines, temples, and churches, so theater was encouraged to depict aspects of religion and the growth of society. In Japan, no theater was a classical performance art and a form of storytelling. After the collapse of the Roman Empire and the spread of with the development of Christianity, the church used plays to educate their congregation on how to act and behave in a society that was predominantly illiterate. These plays used the language of the people rather than the Latin language used by the church. During the Italian Renaissance, cities could enjoy the slapstick, unscripted comedy of the commedia dell'arte, or comedy of the trade. Groups of traveling professional actors would improvise their art spurred on by the wants of the audience, while in England Shakespeare was busy writing over 30 comedies, tragedies, and histories. Before we discuss the implications theater has had on literacy and education, we thought we should explain the different stages of theater development in more detail. So in Greece, this was an epoch in which a small and gifted society shared its traditions and culture and truly entered into the achievements of its great writers and artists. As the Greeks had no holy texts, they looked to the stories of mythical heroes. These myths were not set in stone, but were reinvented by each generation to tell the story from a new perspective, or with a different emphasis. The constant reinterpretation brought the myths alive, and the Greeks called this process the theater. All city-states held annual theatrical festivals in honor of Dionysus, the god of fertility and wine. The three types of plays performed were satire plays, tragedies, and comedies. The satire plays tended to be lowbrow and lewd, but provide comic relief during the heavy tragedies. The tragedies were painfully serious. They examined the mythical creatures from a moral perspective and explored the vice of excessive pride known as hubris. The chorus acted as the moral compass, but the mythical god rarely listened, which led to his demise. The comedies lampooned celebrities and ideas of the time. They provided a serious social commentary on daily life. The theater was a major part of Greek culture, and they had developed elaborate rituals of worship. It was from the contests held at these festivals that the greatest playwrights were introduced, including Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes.
Created using Powtoon.